Hey, everybody. Welcome back to day 2, Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Oceanside. My name is Bob Babbitt, brought to you by HOKA Master Spas, deboer wetsuits, Quintana Roo, and, of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, Mr. Greg Harper. Actually, his dad, Dean, was on the first ever cover of Triathlete magazine, and he and I go back a lot of years. And for a triathlete, Greg, we're talking, this is like the hairiest legs I think I have ever seen in a professional triathlete. Come on now. What's going on?
Well, I'm a swimmer, so we shave our legs at the last minute right before the big race each year. And so I've been growing them out since New Zealand last year. And
since New Zealand?
It's on the plan for today.
Okay.
So hopefully I see you tomorrow. I'm looking good.
Better get
like
the
a
shears
real
out,
triathlete.
man.
But, I was thinking about it. I asked my dad before I came.
Yeah.
I think it was a 1982 Ironman. Maybe you guys met. So over 40 years ago. And you guys have been around the sport for so long. It's so cool to see.
It's really fun to see. And I love what your dad has done with the Cal Berkeley Triathlon Club, a collegiate triathlon club, because in my opinion, that is the future of the sport, right? You've got...
He would agree.
These are 150 members of that club who are going to be able to fill up our corrals for the next 20 years. They have the wherewithal financially. They're going to have good professions. They love the sport. So for you, growing up, obviously, did your dad, immerse you in this? Comes from... He had a swimming background as well. When did you find that triathlon is for me?
Yeah, I did my first triathlon at age 9.
Yeah.
My dad was getting back into it a bit because he won the original Wildflower.
Yes, he did.
And they invited him back for the 20-year anniversary. So he kind of got back into it in his 50s again after stopping and, becoming a lawyer, kind of raising us as a kid.
How many kids?
3. So I got 2 older sisters.
Okay.
Family is swimmers. So, we've been around endurance sports a lot, but, he did it the right way. He never pushed me to do anything. And I kind of found it myself. So dabbled in triathlons as a kid. Then came back to it at the end of college, and then kind of in COVID again, and now I'm kind of full on, trying to be the best triathlete I can.
Did you swim in college at Berkeley?
I swam in Berkeley, yep.
And was the goal? Every swimmer wants to go to the Olympics, but at a certain point, you're like, how far am I going to get?
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to go to the Olympics. I wanted to go to the Olympics in triathlon or swimming or just be an athlete of some sort.
Right.
But I never was quite that fast and swam with Olympians on a daily basis and learned from them. So I've been around the pool and I learned so much from those type of athletes.
Right.
So it was pretty amazing. And came back into triathlon where I knew I maybe had a better shot, but still going, still trying. I'm not there yet, but I'm 33, so I still got a couple more years under my belt.
Absolutely. Now, what did you graduate with and degree-wise from Berkeley?
Yeah, an economics degree. And
okay.
I was a real estate appraiser for a few years after college, actually up until this kind of last year.
Okay.
So now I'm kind of full-time pro, coaching on the side as well, and trying to...
Loving it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think people first saw you at the 70.3 Worlds in Taupo, where you come out of the water first. And everybody's like, oh, my God, who's this? You can see people scrambling going, who's this Greg Harper? Who is this guy?
The announcers.
That had to be pretty fun coming out of transition first.
Yeah, it was fun. And I kind of called my shot, actually, a couple months before. And people knew me. I was like, I think I'm going to come out first. And, it was super fun. I got some kind of exposure. And, people realized that, you learn you kind of have to build a brand a little bit if you want to be a pro and, attract sponsors and things.
Yes.
So I'm trying to kind of lean into that and also become a more well-rounded triathlete as well. But it was super fun. I had the best time in New Zealand. It was an amazing trip. My folks came, and it was a big trip.
Did you guys spend time afterwards just traveling around?
Yeah, we did. And, and before. We were there for almost 3 weeks, so it was a good time.
And I heard your dad's just a great driver, and that was really fun. Having your dad at the wheel on the wrong side of the road, that would have been...
I was the most... there were some testy moments, though.
I had them as well.
I'd never driven on the left side of the road.
Never.
The highway was closed. We're on these narrow roads with semi-trucks.
With no freaking shoulder.
Yeah, it was, put the relationship to the test, but, we made it through.
He was in the back seat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dad in the back seat. And he told me it was white knuckling the entire time.
Yep. Yeah, you kind of just embrace it okay, we go down, we go down.
We go down. There's semi coming at me. I can dump the family off the side of this cliff because there's no shoulder whatsoever.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That was the scariest driving I've ever done. So you come out of the water. How long did you lead?
Just literally to T1. I didn't even come out of T1 first.
Did you care?
Not really. Like I kind of done what I wanted to do.
Yeah, you wanted to lead.
Yeah, I wanted to lead, and hopefully this year I can maybe get gaps or have a strong T1, get on the bike, be aggressive.
Yes.
Like just control the race and not be so tentative.
Right.
Just like kind of make a stamp on the race rather than I'm gonna like run and try to recover and then wait for guys to go by. I just kind of want to change my mindset this year. Like get out there, race hard, and try to hang with the big boys on the bike.
There's really no reason why not. And how have you changed your cycling training for this year?
Last year I was doing everything myself, so I kind of have a couple coaches helping me out, and just a little more strategic planning. Nothing too crazy. You know how it is. It's like you train a lot. Sometimes you go hard.
Right.
It's not so complex.
No.
Right. You just got to be consistent and show up and do the work.
Well, and also when I look at your swim, obviously first out of water, but 209 bike is not bad on that course.
No, it was one of my best rides.
And 118 run. I mean, so you were solid.
Yeah, solid. And my strength endurance on the run was definitely lacking a bit. And
right.
I think my fitness was probably a little bit better than that. So, I ran a 1:10 half marathon a couple weeks ago. So
wow.
I think I'm in a good spot, and hopefully I can bike well and maybe run just a few minutes slower than that. I think I'll be in a good spot.
It's going to be interesting too. Is I'm sure when that type of thing happens, when you lead off the swim, the other guys start thinking, oh, he's just going to lead the swim, which is a great thing. I remember Ben Canute, great swim bike. We were just talking about him when he went to Chattanooga. They're like, this guy can't. He's not going to run. And then Javier Gomez didn't catch him, I think, until like 10 miles of a 13-miler.
I remember that race.
You remember that?
He was off the front the whole bike. Yeah,
the whole time.
Well, and some people when they, if you don't have the benefit of the doubt or they underestimate you, that's when you can really, exceed expectations.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
I know you know the podcast Pro Tri News, but they said I was basically racing to T1. And I said, well, no, that's not my mindset.
No.
I'm a professional triathlete. I'm trying to get to the finish line as fast as I can.
Exactly.
So,
well, my feeling is you don't ever underestimate anybody because you don't know when somebody makes their. I remember this goes back a few years. 2007, a woman named Chrissy Wellington came to Kona, and she had won Ironman Korea, but nobody had any clue who she was. She is like at the back of the women's pack on the Queen Highway, and she's talking to Belinda Granger, who trained with her, right?
Okay.
And she says, Belinda seems slow. Belinda says, you should go. And then when she took off, Belinda says to the rest of the girls, the race just went that way. That's the person going to win. And then nobody had a clue.
Know, right? Like,
no idea.
She'll blow up. I mean, similar with Sam Laidlow that one year.
Yes.
When he went off the front and Norwegians hang back and like, oh, Sam, he blows up. And he almost ran for the win.
Well, and what's funny about that is he ran 2:44. You come off the bike with 7-8 minutes and run 2:44.
Yeah,
you're winning. I mean, Gustav had to run 2:36 to catch him.
Yeah,
right. So he put Gustav in a position. I don't look at that as somebody who blew up. I look at it as somebody who had a great race. He knew what he could ride and still run 2:44. Mm-hmm. And at that point, here's Gustav, and Christian didn't get him.
Yeah,
but Gustav got him. But Gustav had to have the fastest run in Ironman history to catch him. You just you tip your hat at that point.
Oh,
you did everything right.
100%. Yeah, and then. I think the 240 though by Mark Allen, including transitions with no super shoes.
89.
I don't know. I think that might be the most important or most impressive. I don't know. Well, who knows?
Especially when you look at the fact that the course record in the run at that point was 249.
Oh wow!
And in March of that year, I interviewed Dave Scott, and I said, "Dave, what's going to happen in Kona this year?" And he goes, "Well, I'll tell you what's not going to happen because Scott Molina had run a 3:02 the year before."
Okay.
He says if somebody runs 3:02. They're not winning Ironman. They're going to be 3 miles down the road. Somebody's going to run low 240s, and there's only 2 of us who can do that. So
Gotta call your shot.
Mark's reading it going, I think he's talking about me, and I think it means the 2 of us are going to be running low 240s, so I better figure this stuff out.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty damn special. So did you remember watching your dad race back in the day?
Yeah, he wasn't – by the time I was born, I had older sisters. He wasn't racing as a pro. But I do remember being at races, when he raced age group. He kind of came back around age 50. He did the age group world and things like that. He's very good.
The Olympic distance type of stuff.
The Olympic distance type of stuff, yeah. So I do remember him doing that. But just looking at old photos of their mustaches and the triathlete magazine and the photo shoots with, it's funny. I was just talking about sponsorships with I'm staying with Mark Dubrick this weekend. And my dad got Nike shoes for his groomsmen in his wedding. Nike gave him shoes for his groomsmen. And he just says, hey, Nike, will you sponsor me? They say, sure. specialized. Hey, you want a bike? Sure. So it's the times have changed, obviously. Not that it was like so easy to get sponsorships back then, but
there was some bigger sponsors at the time.
Bigger sponsors.
You had Budweiser. You
yeah,
had,
I got the Bud Light Ironman shirts from the 80s.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had some. Even in like 2011, 12, you had the Lifetime Fitness Series with the Toyota Cup, right?
Oh, so right. That was big money.
That was also really the last time we had a pro series that was where it was not draft legal, right? It was Olympic distance non-draft.
I want them to bring that back.
You would be perfect for that.
Well, you can get like St. Anthony's, like Malibu Tribe, maybe even like Beijing, Noosa. I mean, there's still some that exist, but
Chicago with a pro field, and now the Super Tri owns
New York City,
and they've got Austin, and
they got New York too.
They've got New York. And then I think they have an event that they take over something in Florida. They might have, or in Arizona. So I think Super Tri is building a sort of a national series like that for Super Tri, which would be great, because for a while there, people had to go from when Olympic distance non-draft went away. You went from Olympic distance draft to I got to do a 70.3 or an Ironman.
Yeah,
that's like saying to somebody who's a 100-meter guy, you got to run the 5,000. It's pretty crazy.
It's a different beast, and no, it's good. America needs some more racing. We got our great Ironman races, and they're staples, and that's amazing. But even on like the draft legal side, there's like maybe one Continental Cup. It's like we need a little bit of resurgence and stuff, and that helps with the development of athletes too. I mean, you look at nations like France and Germany, and they have these
Bundesliga, French Grand Prix,
and then look at they all succeed in ITU, and then they come to Ironman, they do great. So, and that's why you talk about club triathlon and.
Yes.
Cal was just at nationals. They got 60 kids, and these kids come in, they get developed, and they're
and they love the sport.
Yeah.
And I think to a certain degree, hey, it's great to have a women's NCAA program. That's wonderful for triathlon. Try to get 40 women, nine women on a team, but the real big numbers are at USC, UCLA, Cal Berkeley, Arkansas. Those schools can have, because you don't have to be elite. It's social. You can come out there and, so being part of that club, how important was that to you for just creating the joy to stay in the sport?
It's huge. And it's like, it's not just so much about performance, because, you can get burnt out in that type of way. But, it's this lifestyle we all live, right? Just the being fit, the being healthy. You might do some triathlons one year, maybe you don't do it for a couple of years, but you might come back to it,
Exactly.
And it's like, it's just this lifelong pursuit of being happy and fulfilled, through endurance athletics. So,
right.
That college, that club atmosphere was very inclusive. When I did it in college, it was like 2,000 kids from all over the country. You know, and it's not, NC2A is just like, it's closed, right? You have to be, there's only a few hundred, right? So, and then maybe it's so intense that they don't love the sport when they get out, right? You think about Division I running, and they get bogged down with injuries, and they don't love the sport forever. So.
I was just interviewing Tamara Jewett, and then we've had Chelsea Sodaro. They come from, actually, Chelsea came from Berkeley.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And had, 6 stress fractures, and realized she's doing all this swimming and riding to rehab.
Yeah.
And her husband's like, you should jump into this. That Gwen Jorgensen was a runner in college, and she's just won a gold medal. So
and it can be a little healthier. I mean, like, yes, running a lot, there's a tipping point, right?
Exactly.
It's like running is healthy, but when you crush 100-mile weeks for years on end,
you're done.
It's not going to be the most sustainable thing over time.
No.
So, mix in some swimming and some cycling, and it's just a really good, sustainable, lifelong pursuit.
Have you done a full yet?
No, this year, though, I'm going to do Placid. Is the plan.
You are?
Yeah.
So that'll be the debut.
That'll be the debut, and it's like a home race for me. I live in New York these days.
You do?
Yeah, so in Westchester County, just
really?
north of the city. Yep. So just shoot up the highway and be there in 4 or 5 hours.
We do a lot with our foundation in New York.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. We have a gala in September called the Heroes Heart and Hope.
I'll have to come.
You should definitely come. I would love to have you there. That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great community. You got Empire Triathlon Club back there. Got a great community of athletes.
Yeah, it's actually not a bad place to train. There's good roads, and I'm not in the city. I'm a bit out. And it's not quite the mecca as Boulder, but I think you'd be surprised.
So what got you there?
My fiance is from New York, so we met in California, but we're out there now, and yeah, so
that's you know what? It is a great place to train. And going down and doing some stuff in Central Park is always a blast.
People 100%. And, if you're motivated, you can train anywhere, right?
Exactly.
There's always perfect places to train, but you could always get the work done.
So for this year, what are your plans besides Placid?
I'm going to do St. Anthony's in a couple weeks.
Oh, good.
And then, I was actually thinking about doing Texas, but I'm doing St. Anthony's, which is obviously a shorter one.
Yeah.
Let's see, St. George and Eagleman and Placid.
Nice.
So, and then after that, I'll kind of reassess. Maybe get a world spot and kind of plan the rest of the season.
Right, if Placid gets you to Kona.
Yeah, or 70.3 worlds. Yeah.
Or would that qualify for just for Nice?
For Nice,
right? Okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then, you'd still have to go. But
my dad wants to get back to Nice. They had the Nice triathlon was massive in the 80s.
Yes. Your dad wants to come back.
He wants to get back to Nice. He's like, yeah, you got to qualify.
Oh, yeah. He's not talking about him qualifying.
No.
He's like, yeah,
he's retired.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah,
I have no interest in that.
He just gives it to the kids.
But what's so cool is the fact that your dad took the time off to raise the family and a whole bit, and then when in his 50s, he totally got back absorbed into it, and then he created the Cal Tri Club.
Yeah, well, he didn't create it, but he
he took it over and
took it over. Yeah, exactly. He's really nurtured that, and the good thing about him, and he always stresses that to them. It's this lifestyle, right?
Yes.
We just talked about it, but just he always says 15% happier. When you're doing your endurance sport and you're healthy and you're fit. So that's kind of what I try to hone in, and kind of race with that type of spirit too, because we're all privileged to be here in this amazing race. Ironman puts on this great spectacle for us, and we're out here just like celebrating it.
Now, have you done this one before?
No, actually, I haven't.
Oh, you're going to love it. Well, but you would come here for the camps that your dad did, right?
Yeah, I've been to Oceanside a lot. And when I was in college, we would come down here and do some training camps.
Yeah, because they always come over to CAF.
Yeah,
we do a tour of the CAF building.
Yep.
That is so cool. I love to see the next generation. I mean, Ben Canute started when he was 8, 9 years old with what was their group? Not Trimasters. I forgot what his group was called, but in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Him, Lucas Verzbickas, Kevin McDowell.
And McDowell's racing this weekend,
He's racing with him and Ben, right?
Yeah, it should be fun.
And it's cool that people like yourselves who got into it young didn't get burned out.
Yeah.
Still love the sport.
Yeah, I raced Kevin actually in Iron Kids back in the day.
Trimaniacs, that was it.
Oh,
you did Iron Kids?
Yeah.
I did the national commentary for that.
Oh, I won the nationals 4 times.
Which cities? Was it Nashville or Memphis or wait?
Yeah, we were in Memphis a couple times. Yeah? I'm trying to think of where they
probably
were.
I was way earlier.
Yeah.
Rainbow, Colonial, Iron Kids Bread, National Championship.
Yeah, the Iron Kids Bread, man. That was amazing. I saw the booth down here, so it seems like it's kind of making a bit of a resurgence because it was kind of not really existing there for a bit.
I think it's just a running event. They just do a little kids mile.
Okay.
Yeah, but I always felt that Iron Kids thing really would do it because you think about it, who's going to pay for it and who's going to bring them? The parents, and you get them into the sport. So it's another way to get new people.
That's really
sport.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah, I always love those Iron Kids. You had to swim. You swam in the pool, right?
Yes.
But then they would make you walk on deck, so we're like sprint walking after you get out of the pool. My dad's like, okay, so you get out, you have to walk, but we got to practice our sprint walk. Transitions are important. So just those little things. It was a lot of fun.
And they used to have a kid with tassels on the handlebars, and they'd have the tassels, the blocks on the pedals, and then there's another kid with a drop frame, drop frame Cervelo with a disc wheel on the back, and you're like, I don't know how fair this is, but the sport was for everybody, which was very cool.
Yep, definitely. And the kids who probably took it way too serious might have burned out a little bit too.
Yes, of course.
So yeah.
Love it. Hey, thanks for taking time, man.
I appreciate you having me,
It's going to be fun to watch you race.
Yeah, I hope
your journey's going to be cool. And
I hope I can get some screen time for you.
Yeah, we'll get you join us in New York. I think you'd have a good time.
I would love that. Thanks,
September
Bob.
17th, I think, is our gala in New York this year.
Perfect. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, buddy. Again, Greg Harper has been our guest. My name is Bob Babbitt. This is Breakfast with Bob from Oceanside. Hold on. We'll be right back.